action is what's going to give you the reward.
I'm Maud Léger, and this is the Realtors Conspiracy Podcast, where we crack the code to real estate success. Learn from top realtors, entrepreneurs, innovators about how to grow your business as we discuss real estate success stories, mindset, processes, innovations, and the key to their success. Check out our podcast episodes every Monday to crack the code to success for your real estate business. This week, I'm speaking with Gaby Léveillé from Keller Williams. Gaby has a very down-to-earth, action-focused, relationship-based real estate business. For her, having processes to follow up, combined with a dose of empathy for great leadership and caring for her clients, turns into referrals and business growth. So let's get to my chat with Gaby. Hi, Gaby. Thanks for joining us today. Tell us, what is the key to your success?
Oh, good question. I would have to say probably just being able to listen to my clients and listen to what they really need. And yeah, I think that's the key to it, and making them feel like they've been heard in order to be able to give them the best service possible, really.
Very cool. Did you nurture that skill, or is it a skill you had already that you've been good at?
I think, yeah, it's just something I've always been good at, I guess you could say. It's just something that's part of the great part of the job, really, right? Is seeing the final result at the end and seeing how happy they are.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah.
very cool. How do you
Thank you.
service your clients better or different than other realtors? What differentiate you?
Good question. I mean, I guess we're all unique in our own way.
Yes.
I guess what you do to go above and beyond for your clients.
Mhm.
I know sometimes we get busy in this crazy world and whatnot, but it's just taking good care of them. Again, boils down to listening, and then just being able to give them all of the resources and the services available to them in order to maximize that
Nice.
investment of theirs, right? Because we want to make it look good. So just, yeah, being able to provide all of those things. And sometimes, it's a last minute thing and you have to get it done because the listing is going live in a couple of days, right? And
Yeah.
like I had one, we had weeds up to our knees, but we got it done, right? We just call people we know and call in those lovely favors that we are owed. But yeah, it all works out in the end. It's just a matter of, how much do you do for your client? And I think I've always gone above and beyond, we'll say. And again, it's just a matter of taking good care of them.
Nice. And how would you leverage your listings? Once you have a listing, how do you maximize everything out of it so you can get your next listing?
Oh, geez, good question. You know what? It's all about the marketing, really, at this point in time, and who you're reaching out to, right? Making sure that the people that you're talking to are, A, qualified buyers or interested sellers, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, not everyone is looking to be in the market right at that particular moment, but it's just nurturing those leads and just keeping in touch with people,
Yeah.
just being of service again, right?
Nice. Tell us about your background. Like, how long have you been in real estate? How did you get to where you are today?
So I actually initially started my career in insurance, and I was at the end, I was basically a life and disability adjudicator, and it was great work. Like I learned a lot. Again, maybe that's where the empathy comes in and listening to people. But I learned a lot, and it was wonderful. But it just got to the point where it's a little what you say, a little depressing at times, right? So it was just, and it was time for a change. I'd done that for over a decade. So I just thought it's time for something new. And I always enjoyed real estate. So I just called one day from the office and signed up and never looked back. And it was a great decision. I
Yeah,
don't regret it one bit.
I love it. You bring that empathy to your business now. As a
Absolutely.
realtor, what other quality do you have that got you to where you are today?
Hmm. What other qualities? I think it's just, again, just taking good care of people, right? If you say you're going to do something, just follow through.
Mhm.
That's one of the big things, right? So just taking good care of people and listening to their needs and servicing those.
Nice. Very cool. You talk about marketing and keeping in touch with your clients. How do you keep in touch with your clients? I know about your newsletter. What else do you do?
Yeah, so we usually have I have like a database, and I usually try to keep in touch with them on a quarterly basis, whether it be for their birthday or Christmas, of course, and those kinds of things. Those special moments that mean something to people, their anniversaries and that kind of thing. Just trying to recognize people as much as we can on those days, because it's not just about the transaction. It's their lives, right? It's actually been pretty cool because I've seen it through the decades now, right? When I serviced, like, I had clients that I dealt with 10 years ago, and now I run into them and their kids are grown, and it's amazing. It's nice. It's kind of rewarding for me, because it comes back full circle, right? You get the referrals from those people, so you know that you've built that relationship and you've nurtured that relationship, which is, I think, that is key and the most rewarding of it all.
Nice. Yeah, the referral is the most rewarding thing ever. It's like you've done a good job. They recognize it. They trust you with the next person. I think that's
It
amazing.
speaks volumes,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
it means a lot, and like I said, it warms my heart.
Nice. Very cool.
Mhm.
And what motivates you in real estate as a realtor? Like, how do you get going? Like, as an entrepreneur, you're working by yourself. What keeps you going, motivates you?
I think it's just having a good network of people around you,
Nice.
and making sure that you're still out and about and talking to people, because it's easy with COVID nowadays. We've all been stuck home, and we can all kind of retreat, I guess you could say. But you know, there's no time for that, we'll say, in real estate, right? And especially with this market that we've had in the last year and a half, it's been insane. So you kind of have to move quickly, we'll say, right? But yeah, it's interesting.
Yes, it is an interesting market right now for realtors, for buyers, for sellers, for everybody in the industry.
Yes, and then you start seeing a shift, and yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next 6 months, we'll say.
Yeah, definitely. What was a moment for you that you felt successful? Like, what was a defining moment?
Mhm. I don't know. I guess when you have a certain goal in mind
Hmm.
and you actually attain it or exceed it, um, that to me obviously is, yeah, exactly, right. It's up there, because then it's rewarding, right? Because everything that you're working towards is actually coming to fruition. But
Hmm.
it's not just that; it's kind of like you're making all these people happy, right?
Yeah,
Every transaction is a relationship, and I truly believe that, right? It's not just a number.
yeah,
Um, it's who you're dealing with, because you're going to deal with these people over and over again if you do it right,
yeah,
hopefully. Right? Yeah.
definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
What would
Mhm.
you say, talking about goals and growth and your business, what would be three actions that you've done in your business that every other realtor should be doing?
Hmm. Calling people. I say stay in touch with people.
Nice.
That's a huge one, because that's, I guess, the majority of the complaint is that people don't hear from the realtor ever again. And I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means,
Oh, no.
um, but we try our best, right? I guess it's the networking, it's the connections that you have. Um,
Mhm.
we all have them, but it's how do you use them, right? So that's been really fruitful. Like, I've had met a lot of great people and great connections that have great resources too. So it's just, and then you make those available to your clients. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
And what would be the third thing? I guess something I'm not very comfortable with, but social media, right? It's having to get out there a bit more, just like this podcast, for
Yeah.
example.
Nice.
But it's, yeah, as much as I don't like doing some of that. I need to get myself out there a bit more, and the more I do that, the more people can relate as well, right, to our stories or whatever it is that we're going through, or they're going through at that time.
Totally. Knowing too about you and who you are and what you bring to the table as a realtor is important.
Yeah, it's very different when you see a video of somebody versus a picture,
Yeah,
right? Picture doesn't paint
yeah,
the whole well picture, really.
yeah. It's like when we do testimonials with people, like having a written testimonial is something. It's great. It's not bad. But having it on video is like, whoa, like it really tells the story about how great of a realtor you are.
Yeah, you're absolutely right because every buyer, every seller has a unique perspective, we'll say. So it's kind of nice to hear, even for ourselves as realtors, when it's, a testimonial about your work and your services. It's kind of nice to hear what you're doing well, and what you can keep improving on, right?
Yeah, very cool. When you talked about networking, when you do network, do you, like right now, you network virtually? Do you have any associations that you prefer? Or where?
Well, there's associations that I definitely prefer. So, like the Chamber of Commerce,
Mhm.
BNI, which was one, but of course, everything came to a halt with COVID.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we do a lot of virtual meetings actually. So, we have a group of agents and we have masterminds that we do.
Nice.
And it's just very helpful. Like, even our broker, we have Market Mondays, little things like that that keeps us aware of what's going on in the market.
Mhm.
Because especially with COVID nowadays, we don't hear, you're not in the office to hear what's going on with other people or how the market is or how they're feeling about the market. So it's kind of nice to have that weekly call to touch base, we'll say, and be on touch with the market.
Yeah, that's cool. I like the networking, but also the personal development, having the mastermind.
Yes. And just it keeps you aware of what's going on, right?
Yeah, very cool. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Mm. The best advice would probably be teach people how to treat you.
Ooh, how do you do that? Tell us more.
I think it's just kind of setting expectations from the beginning
Love it.
and having a mutual respect, for both of us, because time is valuable, for everyone. So at the end of the day, you just want to make that time that you're together efficient. But it's about building that relationship, right? And that common respect.
Yeah, I love that part. That's a really good point because a lot of agents are from the other side thinking like they're doing everything for their client, they're trying to service them, but they're getting completely overwhelmed with texting at midnight and like all of that demand from people.
Yes, and you still have some of that sometimes. But again, it's all about letting them know what's important,
Mhm.
and bringing it back to what's important. Sometimes it could be something really small, a very small issue that may seem very big to them, right? So it's just putting it into perspective and then just talking it through. Sometimes just makes them feel better, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, I like that. How did you learn
Um,
about how to manage expectations like this? That's a good skill to have.
yeah, you learn over the years. you know, Not every transaction or individual um is perfect. But no individual is, right? So it's learning how, for even for me, how to deal with different personalities and stuff, right? So, and I tend to work with like-minded people,
Yeah.
which really helps, right? When you attract that kind of clientele, I
Mhm.
think that is key. So I mean, knock on wood, I've been really lucky. I've had really great clients. I really can't complain.
Yeah. Do you work on your ideal client, like defining that persona or how to attract who you're trying to deal with?
Ideally, I guess I have in the past, and
Hmm.
maybe that's why I'm attracting those like-minded people. A lot of my business now, like 90% of it is referral based. So having said that, it's because I'm dealing with people that I already know or are very much like-minded like myself, then we get along great and we tend to, and that's where the business grows, right? Because you tend to get the referrals from that.
Hmm.
So I think, yeah, that's just been a big part. And the others are just, again, just relating personalities, right? Because nowadays we don't really get to meet too many people. open houses are starting again, which is great. So that will be a nice connection for people again. But it's just, yeah, doing what we can to stay connected on that level as much as possible.
Nice. Very cool. Thank you. What advice would you give to a realtor that's feeling like beat or calling it quits or not sure to want to continue in the career?
Mm. You know, everything that is worthwhile is you have to work at it, right? Nothing comes easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it,
No.
right? So I know that the success rate probably for realtors is not very high, we'll say in the first 2 years. But having said that, just stick to it. If you're persistent and you're consistent, it will come together. It's just, just keep moving forward. Action is what's going to give you the reward. And if you give up, then nothing's going to move. So, yeah, so that's where it becomes a stalemate, right? So it's just stay positive as much as possible. I know it's in hard business at times. It's not that easy, but it's just staying positive. Mindset is a huge thing.
I love it. Yeah, all of those key action, mindsets, all of it. Do you track actions in your business? Are there specific actions you must do every week that will get you to your goals?
Yes and no. I mean, they always evolve,
Mhm.
right? And that's what I mean by no. So there are certain things that I need to do. Yes, like I need to talk to people. You need to keep on top of, the projects and the social media and whatnot, and making myself available for the people. Um, basically the number of contacts. How many people do you talk to in a day? And how many people are you adding to the database? Let's say whether it be weekly or monthly or whatnot. So those are things that I have to track. I have a coach, so it's kind of like we track everything from the number of listing appointments to buyer appointments. So I mean, it can be a little tedious sometimes.
Yeah.
but if you don't know your numbers, it's hard to know where you're going, right? So it's really crucial to know, and not just that. If you know your numbers, you know the market that much more.
Yeah, true. I like that. Who do you have that's an inspiration or a mentor for you that you look up to?
Good question. There's a few in the office, like even within our Keller Williams office.
Yeah.
We have some really big producers in there, and they're just it's just interesting and inspiring to hear them talk sometimes, because we all have this mentality of, oh wow, they're like super top producers and they have issues just like we do. Right? It's just on a bigger scale maybe, or whatever, but it doesn't matter. It's inspiring to see them, but again, that's key. Action is what is going to get you that reward. So keep moving forward.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining today. That was awesome sharing with you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to do this with you, and thank you.
Thanks for joining. Subscribe to our podcast, Realtors Conspiracy, today.